You don't have to be French to enjoy a decent red wine. Charles Jocelyn de Gros used to tell his foreign guests whenever he entertained them in Paris. But you do have to be French to recognize one. He will add with a laugh. After a lifetime in the French diplomatic corps, the Count de Gros lived with his wife in an elegant townhouse on Quai Voltaire. He was a likable man, cultivated of course, with a well-deserved reputation as a generous host and an amusing raconteur. This evening's guests were all European and all equally convinced the immigration was at the root of Europe's problems. Charles de Gros said nothing. He had always concealed his contempt for such ideas, and in any case he had never much cared for this particular guest. The first of the red Bordeaux was being served with a veal, and one of the guests turned to the Gros. "Come on, Charles, it's simple arithmetic. Nothing to do with race or color. You must have bags of experience of this sort of thing. What you say?" "Yes, General, bags. A pen, a postcard, a pencil, a passport, a pin, a passenger, a pear, a policeman, Peter, a newspaper, puppy, a pepper pot, Paris, a spoon, empty, helpful, stop talking, upstairs, plate, brushed, waited, cleaned, laughed, painted, snow, pushed, shouted, closed, watched, wanted, filled, danced, landed, studied, walked, departed. Pin, bin, pen, ben, pear, bear, cap, cab, pub, pub, puppy, bobby, tour, door, tarts, darts, car, card, ride, ride, train, drain, trunk, drum. She was walking lazily, for the fierce April sun was directly overhead. Her umbrella blocked its rays, but nothing blocked the heat, the sort of raw, wild heat that crushes you with its energy. A view above lower tethered under coconuts, browsing the parched verge. Occasionally a car went past, leaving its streets in the melting pitch like the wake of a ship at sea. Otherwise it was quiet, as she saw no one. In her long white Sunday dress you might have taken Jeannie Nerin for 14 or 15. In fact, she was 12, a happy uncomplicated child, with a nature as open as the red hibiscus that decorated her black waist-laying hair. Generations earlier her family had come to Trinidad from India as overseers. On the sugar plantations, her father had some success through buying and clearing land around Rio Cristalino and planting it with coffee. On a dusty verge, 20 yards ahead of Jeannie, a car pulled up. She had noticed it cruised by once before, but she did not recognize it and could not make out the driver through its dark windows, themselves as black as its gleaming paintwork. As he walked past it, the driver's glass started to open. "Hello, Jeannie," she heard behind her. She paused and turned. A slight color rose beneath her dusky skin. Ravi Kirjani was tall and lean, and always well dressed. His black eyes and large white teeth flashed in the sunlight as he spoke. Everyone in Rio Cristalino knew Ravi. Jeannie often heard her unmarried sisters talk ruefully of him, of how if only their father were alive and they still had land, one of them might marry him, and then they would scuttle over who it might be and laugh at Jeannie because she was too simple for any man to own. "How do you know my name, Ravi?" she asked with a thrill. "How do you know mine? Everyone knows your name. You're Mr. Kirjani's son, right? And where are you going, Jeannie?" She hesitated and looked down at the ground again. "To chapel," she said, with a faint smile. "But, Jeannie, good Hindus go to the temple. His rich cultured voice was gently mocking as he added with a laugh, "Or maybe the temple pundit earned your taste in color." She blushed more deeply at the reference to Father Oliver. She did not know how to reply. It was true that she liked the young French priest, with his funny accent and blue eyes, but she had been going to the Catholic chapel for months before he arrived. She loved its cheerful hymns, and its simple creed of one God so different from those miserable Hindu gods who squabble with each other like her sisters at home. But, added to that, the vulgarity of Ravi's remark bewildered her because his family were known for their breeding. People always said that Rafi would be a man of honor like his father. Rafi looked suddenly grave. His dark skin seemed even darker. It may be that he regretted his words. Possibly he saw the confusion in Ginny's white-brown eyes. In any case, he did not wait for an answer. "Can I offer you a lift to chapel in my 21st birthday present?" he asked, putting his sunglasses back on. She noticed how thick their frames were. Real gold, she thought, like the big fat watch on his wrist. "It's a Mercedes from Papa. Do you like it?" he added nonchalantly. From the shade of her umbrella, Ginny peered up at the small lone cloud that hung motionless above them. The sun was beating down mercilessly, and there was an urge in the air, an overpowering sense of growth. With a handkerchief sweep the sweat from her forehead, Rafi gave a tug at his collar. "It's air-conditioned, Ginny, and you won't be late for chapel." He continued reading her mind. The chapel must have been the last thing on Rafi's mind when Ginny, after a moment's hesitation, accepted his offer. For he drove her instead to a quiet sugar field outside town, and there, with the Mercedes concealed among the sugar canes, he introduced himself into her. Ginny was in the daze. Young as he was, barely understood what was happening to her. The beat of calypso filled her ears, and the sugar canes towered over her as the cold draught from the air conditioner played against her knees. Afterwards, clutching the rich flower that had been torn from her hair, she lay among the tall, sweet-smelling canes and sobbed until the brief tropical twilight turned to starry night. But she told no one, not even Father Oliver. 2 weeks later, in the little market town of Rio Cristalino, was alive with gossip. Rafi Kirjani had been promised the hand of Sunita Murpalini. Like the Kirjanis, the Murpalinis were an established Indian family, one of the wealthiest in the Caribbean. But while the Kirjanis were diplomats, the Murpalinis were a commercial family. They had made their fortune in retailing long before the collapse in oil prices had emptied their customers' pockets. And now Murpalini stores were scattered throughout Trinidad and some of the other islands. Prudently, they had diversified into banking and insurance, and as a result, their influence was felt at the highest level. It was a benevolent influence, of course, never abused, for people always said the Murpalinis were a respectable family and well above reproach. They had houses in Port of Spain, Tobago, and Barbados, as well in England and India, but their main residence was a magnificent, sprawling, colonial-style mansion just to the north of Rio Cristalino. The arranged marriage would be the social event of the following year. When Ginny heard of Rafi's engagement, the loathing she had conceived for him grew into a sort of numb hatred. She was soon haunted by longing to repay that heartless, arrogant brute. She would give anything to humiliate him, to see that leering, conceited grin wave from his face, but outwardly she was unmoved. On weekdays she went to school, and on Sundays she went still to Father Oliver's afternoon service. "Girl, you sure does have a lot of confess to that whittle," her mother would say to her each time she came home late from chapel. "He's not a whittle, he's a man of God." "That's as may be, child, but don't forget he does not a man first." The month passed, and she did not see Rafi again, and then it rained. All through August, the rain hardly stopped. It rattled presently on the galvanized roof until you thought you would go mad with the noise. And if I stopped, the air was as stinky as treacle, and you prayed for it to rain again. Then, one day in October, towards the end of the wet season, when Jeannie's family were celebrating her only brother's 18th birthday, something happened that she had been dreading for weeks. She was lying in the hammock on the balcony, playing with her 6-year-old nephew Penny. Suddenly, Penny cried out, "Jeannie, why are you so fat?" Throughout the little frame house, all celebration stopped. On the balcony, curious eyes were turned upon Jeannie, and you could see what the boy meant. "God have mercy on you, Virginia. Watch the shape of your belly," cried Mrs. Narian, exploding with indignation and pulling her daughter indoors, away from the prying neighbors' ears. Her voice was loud and hard, and there was a blackness in her eyes, like the blackness of the skies before thunder. How could she have been so blind? She cursed herself for it, and harsh questions burst from her lips.